Hi there, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. My name is Melanie and this is another Smash Your Stash video. This is a collaboration that features a few other YouTubers as well as some people over on Instagram who are trying to use different items in our stash throughout the year, and this month's challenge is to focus on unfinished projects. So I actually needed to work on using up some of the base pages that I have made in previous challenges. So they're works in progress, so I figured they qualified for this particular challenge. And I have a stack of base pages here that I have paired up with some photos, and I thought I would share with you the before and then immediately following the completed page so you can see exactly what it was that I smashed this month. Before we get started though, I just wanted to mention that this is a hashtag collaboration, which means if you want to follow along with the other participants, just click on the hashtag in the description or in the title of this video to see what everyone else was up to. Okay, so let's get started. The first layout or first set of base pages that I picked was this 2-page layout featuring a class that I had done with Close to My Heart, and it has a room for 5 photos. Yeah, I have printed a few photos, but I am short one, so I need to go back and print that off, but you'll see how it all turns out here right now. I really love how this page turned out. It's just perfect for a day at the lake. I did have to go back in and print an extra photo. Oh, actually, this is the extra photo. Rearrange things a little bit. Super easy to do. Just, pulled some stickers out. Again, some really old stickers that needed adhesive, but at least if I do it now, I don't have to do it later, so I'm good about that. And then just a little bit of journaling. Also from an SET class, I created this double page layout that had a real autumn theme to it. So I thought it would pair well with some Thanksgiving photos, and I've managed to print out a few different photos, some collaged in order to get them to work on this particular layout. And here's how this one turned out. So I had a few challenges with this one as well. The mats were not a standard 4x6, which I wish I would have known when I was printing out the photos, because I would have shrunk or pre-cropped them. That way I wouldn't have to worry about cropping off people as I was mounting these. I had originally intended for this photo here to go over on this side, but this piece just started to encroach into the photo too much. I also swapped these around. The same deal, I would lose my whole niece. So again, it just took a little bit of playing around and juggling to make it work, but overall I think that went pretty well. I did add the word Thanksgiving in here, and it could be read together as Thanksgiving Memories or just Thanksgiving in general. I'm not too concerned about it being like a fancy title. And then just a little bit of journaling. I tucked the date up here in the top, and that was really all I did for this one. You can tell I was on a kick to use up some of these classes. This one also has an autumn theme, and this is a different Thanksgiving, but one that I just spent here locally and really quietly at home, which kind of fit the title on this one where it says Autumn Cozy Days. I spent a lot of time just cleaning up my apartment and balcony, etc. So that is this one. This was an easy page to fill out. I added 3 photos, a little bit of journaling. I did not change the title at all, but I did add that it was Thanksgiving and then the date on this particular card. And this one is done. This layout has a room for 1 photo, and I found this particular one of my niece. So I think this is going to be a really quick and easy layout to finish. Another one that was very easy to complete, just added the photo and a little bit of journaling. For this one, I decided to pair it with some photos of my boyfriend Tim and I. We had gone on a trip to Joshua Tree, and we had stopped for a picnic, and so I've got a couple photos of those. This is not the only part of this particular day trip, and I will be adding to this, but I'm actually breaking it into 3 sections, and as far as I'm concerned, they don't all need to coordinate. So I'm happy with choosing this base page for these photos. For For this one here, I opted to trim the photos slightly smaller than the matte to leave a little bit of a white border. I like that. I kind of flip-flop back and forth between having mattes on my photos versus not. In this case, I went that route. And then I just added a little bit of journaling down at the bottom. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a multi-page spread for this particular event. So more of the story will get told as those events are documented, or as the rest of the day is documented. I was inspired by the happy days on here. It repeated a couple times, love this life. And I thought this would be a great way to document my 50th birthday. So I do have a few photos that I'm going to use on those tags. Now they aren't going to quite fill up the tag. Not sure how I'm going to make that all work, but you'll see it here in just a second. So what I chose to do with these ones, because the photos were not the full size of the tag, is I just mounted them towards the bottom and then used the top part to add some journaling and then a title. Although technically this could be considered the title as well, or you could read them together as 50 years old, happy days. One of the stories that I wanted to document was my friendship with Nikki. Many of you are familiar with her. We do a monthly video together, a little conversation, chit chat kind of thing. And I really wanted to document the start of that journey with her. Well, somewhat the start. And her picture that she had sent me, this photo of hers as the inspiration for the thumbnail for our videos. And look at the colors, you guys. When I saw this, I knew it had to go with this particular layout. And I also included a picture of our thumbnail for our videos. I'm really excited about how this one's going to turn out. This one wasn't hard to imagine, given I was only adding a couple photos, but I just love how well this one has turned out. I did trim the photo using my Creative Memories cutter system. This one here I was able to leave a matte, but this was the smallest version, so I couldn't matte it, but that's okay because there's a lot of white, so I think it all worked out well. And then I just added a little bit of journaling. This one has space for 2 photos, so I just happen to have 2 photos of my nephew, and I think this one will come together really quickly. This one I kept very simple. I added the date up at the top and a little bit of journaling down here at the bottom, and I added no additional embellishments. So this is a very flat layout. I just felt with all the hearts and everything going on already that it really didn't need anything else. I had a couple Valentine's layouts, so those were easy ones to go and pull. This one has a little bit of orange in it along with the pink and blue. So when I saw these photos of my nephew and cupcakes that my niece had made, I thought this would be fun to include on this particular base page. This one, on the other hand, I felt like it needed a lot of hearts. And so I went into my little bin of pre-cut heart shapes that I punch out of scraps and pulled out some colors that I thought kind of went with the paper. I'm very happy with the teal or turquoise and the pink. This orange is not a perfect match, but again, there's so little orange in here, I think it works okay. And I just found some glitter stickers in my stash that were super old to type the words "Be Mine," and they actually happen to have heart stickers on them. So I pulled some of those out to connect that throughout the layout. I had a photo where I printed off the journaling, and so I really didn't need to add a ton more, but I did still want to give some context for the photos. I'm pretty sure this particular cardstock is really more geared towards football, but I don't really have anybody in my life that plays football, but I do have some volleyball and basketball players, and my niece was awarded the Game Star at a provincial championship, so I thought it would be fun to use on this particular layout. I probably will cover up some of the pattern paper, so you really aren't going to know that it was really intended for football in any of it. This was a more of a struggle than I thought it was going to be. I don't have a ton of sports themed embellishments. And I actually surprisingly don't have a lot of stuff that's like this navy blue, although you could argue it's black. I did find this #1 sticker sheet on I can't remember what the line was now, but it was definitely a masculine line, probably from Echo Park, which I thought worked as she was considered a Game Star in the quarterfinals. I like the title, and because this had a little bit of black in it, I thought, why not pull more black in? So I found this die cut that said for sure. So I'm like, she's an athlete for sure. And then talked a little bit about that. And then on this side, I had quite a bit of space to fill in, but I didn't want to lose all of the background paper because that's really the only thematic part to it. Not overly fond of that kind of layout, but it is what it is. So I think it still works. It's just not, yeah, I struggled a little bit. When I was flipping through my base pages, I immediately thought of the zoo when I looked at this particular pattern paper, and look what I found. How perfect is that? These two pictures were taken at the zoo. I'm not including any animal photos in here because I go to the zoo a lot, and I have a separate album where I keep a lot of my most favorite zoo animal photos anyways. It's not necessarily to document them in my day-to-day so-called album. So I'm really excited with this one. Here's how this one turned out. This is another layout that I decided to go a little bit more on the simplistic side just because I love this paper so much and I did not want to distract from it. So I found these old chipboard, blue chipboard. Now, speaking of navy, I have like hardly any navy stickers. Now, if you looked at my alpha sticker binder, not binders, bins, like I have a lot, but I do not have a lot of navy. I had to glue all of these down individually because we all know that chipboard just doesn't stick. And then I found this kind of sunburst, I think this is from Jelly Beans, which kind of went with the idea of being outdoors. Sunny day, you can tell we're wearing sunglasses and sun hats. And I found this butterfly, which has the same colors as up here. So I thought that went really well. And again, keeping in line with it being the zoo, animals. And then it was just a matter of a few other little pieces to finish it up. This page is a no-brainer for a birthday layout. So I did find a photo of my nephew receiving his birthday card from me. And while the mat is a 5x7 size, I opted to print this as 4x6. I'll probably mat this on white, or maybe some red. And then, of course, by the time you add a title and a few more embellishments, this one should be done pretty quickly. I really love how this birthday layout turned out. I really didn't know what I was going to pull in for embellishments, but I did want to use the title Birthday Wishes, and he's wearing red, so I thought I'd pull that out. The paper is multicolor, rainbow if you will, and so I pretty much could have gone with any of the birthday lines that I had, but I opted to go with an Echo Park sticker sheet, and all I did was just pull out the little critters to fill in the bottom and some other little pieces here and there to finish it off. Now at the very bottom, it is actually a row of candles and it was meant for these critters to have something to stand on, but obviously not meant literally, because obviously candles would be a little bit warm to be standing on. We're back to another 2-page spread, and this case it is from a Vicki Boutin collection and class, and it has a real create art kind of theme to it, so it only makes sense that I document a crafting event. And so I do have a number of photos of me at this event. So I think this one also will be a very quick layout to put together. Okay, this is the page from a Vicki Boutin class. Just added the photos, really, that's all I did. A little bit of journaling, and I had a little bit more to say, so I just tucked a little bit in under this particular photo. And that was pretty much it. When I saw the colors of my niece's sweater, I immediately thought of this butterfly page that I had done, and I think the butterflies are really symbolic. She had a pretty big makeover, and butterflies tend to symbolize change, so I think this one's going to be a good pairing. I opted to go for a column of photos, and I went into my die cut sticker binders and just searched for anything that was yellow or teal and came up with this kind of combination. I thought I would repeat the butterfly motif, again signifying that concept of change. And when I saw this sticker here where it says, what did you just say? I thought that worked really well with the title of It's Time for a Change. So this next layout is going to feature this 2-page design that I created during a class taught by Paige Evans. It clearly has Paige's aesthetics on here. I have paired it with some photos from a local botanical garden. I think this will look quite nice. And here's how this one turned out. This is another layout that I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I do love the bright colors of the flowers, and then some of the pictures just from the garden themselves added a little bit of journaling, and that too was all I did on this layout. The last layout is this one that has the title Vintage Me, and as I mentioned earlier, I turned 50 last year. I did find a single photo of me at 50 happening to wear a purpley kind of shirt. I thought that would be a good one to use on this layout, and I'll probably only modify it slightly by adding some sort of reference to turning 50. And here's what I did. Because turning 50 is such a momentous occasion, I also added this one, and again, just added a photo, and then down here at the bottom where it says Vintage Me, I added at 50. Well, that is it for this month's Smash Your Stash. I hope you guys are encouraged to pull out an unfinished project or a project in works from your stash and play along. If you are someone who likes base pages, and I know there's a bunch of you out there, I encourage you to actually pull them out and try and use them. I know many of you have expressed to me that you struggle sometimes in using them, so this is my challenge to you. Just give it a try. And I hope that you find it as easy and as enjoyable as I do. Be sure to check out the other collaborators. As I mentioned earlier, you can click on the hashtag in the description or in the video title, and you can see everybody else who has played along. And until next time, happy crafting.